Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video I will be talking about why the Washington football team can still possibly make the playoffs. I'm not saying that they're gonna make the playoffs at all, just talking about the possibility of it, and we're gonna go through their schedule and how they've improved over the last couple weeks and much more. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe for Washington and NFL content. Hit that like button and that bell. It really helps out the channel a ton. And also make sure you guys go ahead and check out WinView. Let's get right into the video. So after the Broncos game, many Washington fans, including myself, thought there was really very little chance that the Washington football team would make the playoffs. And it's still not a great chance, but it's a much greater chance after they defeated the Buccaneers in that Week 10 matchup. That was a great win by the Washington football team. And not only that, but the defense is starting to show out. I mean, I even made a video about it before the Bucs game that I think the Washington football team's defense is starting to turn a corner. Over the last 4 or 5 weeks, I've seen an improvement every single week. From the Chiefs game, they started playing a little bit better in that game, and the Packers game, I saw an improvement, and the same to the Broncos game, and then obviously a big improvement going into that Buccaneers game. They've been improving. I really liked what I saw on that, on the defensive side of the ball, and we're starting to get a little bit more healthy, and we got the really hard part of our schedule out of the way. Now we have a much easier second half schedule. Still not easy, but much easier than the first half that we have. And Ron Rivera, his teams, whether you like it or not, they are second half teams. They tend to go on runs in the second half of the season. I mean, you look at last year, we finished off the season 5-2. Those are, a lot of Rivera teams do really well in the second half. And I still think we probably missed the playoffs, but we probably will finish off the year strong. But this year, with how the playoffs are working, there's 7 teams from each conference that make the playoffs right now. So currently Washington is technically in the hunt. Crazy to say, at 3-6, and the Panthers have that last wild card spot at 4-5, but I think they're 5-5 now, so they have the last wild card spot. But I mean, Washington is a couple games out, and right now don't think they're gonna make it. But if they win 2 out of their next 3 and go on a run at the end of the season, there's definitely a chance, because they are starting to get healthier and the defense is playing better. But on offense, I want to talk a little bit about the injuries. We got back a couple players last week we got back William Jackson on defense, but on offense, we got Brandon Sheriff back, De'Ami Brown, who didn't really do much, but we're going to start getting more and more guys back. Sam Cosmi was active. He was on the 46-man active game day roster, but he didn't play. He was an emergency tackle. So I assume this week he will be able to play 1 week after that. He should be good to go. So that's a bonus. Even though Cornelius Lucas has played well, I like Sam Cosmi. I want to see him, continue to develop. And I think Logan Thomas will be back this week. So that's another, hopefully he's back. There's definitely a chance. If not this week, I think for sure he will be back off of IR next week. I think definitely he will be back either this week or next week, and that'll really help us out, especially in the red zone. Logan Thomas is such a big presence there, and we struggled last week. We did a little bit better, but we still struggled a little bit. We kicked 3 field goals in that game. Could have scored another touchdown or 2, especially in the red zone. And Logan Thomas is a big red zone threat, and I think he'll help out this offense a ton. Once he comes back, I think he will be back in the next week or 2. Sam Cosmi as well will be back this week or the week after, and who knows? Curtis Samuel, at this point, I'm just seeing if he comes back, it's an added bonus. But, if he does come back, that's also going to help out the team a ton. And I know people, some fans are like, why try to go out there and win? We want a good draft pick. And I somewhat understand. I think right now is a little bit too early, but I understand it at the end of the season, last 5 or so games, we're out of it, then, I'm fine with some people who are like, okay, let's tank, let's get a good draft pick. But at this point, midway through the season, a lot of things can change. We still have a chance to make the playoffs. I want to see how this team looks I want them, to see progression in this team over the next week, over the next few weeks, so that they can finish off the year strong. Because, it would be really disappointing going from a 7-9 season the year before to, like, let's say a 5 and, a 5-12 record. That just doesn't look good, especially if you're trying to get some veterans to come here next season. If you finish the year off really strong, then maybe one of those veterans that you really want at the quarterback position would consider coming here. But if we finish the year off, 4-13, 5-12, none of those big guys, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, they're not going to want to come here. Maybe if we finish the year off, 8-9, even 7-10, they would consider a little bit more. But that's just one thing right there. I think it would be in our best interest to finish the year off strong. But another reason why I think we can make the playoffs, I touched on it a little bit earlier, but our schedule starts to get a little bit easier. The Panthers, we play them this week. They're not a great team, not a bad team at all. I don't have a great feeling about this game, but definitely a winnable game though. Cam Newton is playing. We'll see how that goes. Maybe Ron Rivera will have an advantage just because he knows Cam Newton really well. And you might say, well, Cam Newton might have an advantage. That is true. But, this defense is very different from the defense, or is a little different than the defense that, Ron ran in Carolina, because he's not controlling the plays. And the Seahawks, a lot of people thought that would be a really tough game before the season started. I picked us to win that game. I think we have a shot of winning that. Even with Russell Wilson back, they just don't seem very impressive. So that's a game we could win. Raiders, I feel like they're starting to go downhill. They always do good in the first half of the season, but the second half is when they go downhill. So I think that is a winnable game. So if you somehow win 2 out of these 3, which I don't know, I feel better about the Seahawks and Raiders game than I do the Panthers. I know that's kind of crazy, but that's just me. And then, so that puts you at 2 more wins, so puts you at 5 wins on the season, which means you would have to win 3 out of the last 5 division games to have a chance of making the playoffs, because I think 8-9 could get you in. 7-10 though, that's very, very hard, even though there are a lot of teams that are in that range right now, and it's going to be tough because you play the Cowboys twice. I think they can beat the Giants. I think they'll split with the Eagles. The Eagles are getting better, so if you can split against the Cowboys, split against the Eagles, and beat the Giants, that would put you at 3 wins right there, plus the 2 wins I talked about earlier. So that would put you at 8 wins on the season with a chance of getting in. And again, guys, I know people are going to say, what's the point of making the playoffs and, lowering our draft pick? Well, here's the thing. We would not be the division winner. So we wouldn't get that first place schedule. It'd be a second place or the third place schedule. And, people are talking about draft pick as well. And I get that. It's great to have a top 5 pick, especially when, it's a great quarterback class. But this year, there's definitely some good quarterbacks in this class. I just don't think there's a clear-cut number 1. So there's going to be, 3-4 guys that maybe get drafted in the first round, and teams are going to have very similar grades on them, so you don't necessarily need that top pick to get a guy like Trevor Lawrence or Joe Burrow or a guy Peyton Manning, guys like that are undoubtedly number 1 picks. And here's the thing, if Washington feels they're a quarterback away this offseason or close to a quarterback away, they can be aggressive and get a rookie this year. They can use a next year's first, or a player and some more assets to trade up a little bit to get their guy. Just because they make the playoffs as a wild card doesn't mean they, can't still get the quarterback of the future. So that's just my thoughts right there. But, schedule is definitely easier and could help us get to the playoffs. But I still kind of see us in that, probably 6-7 win, maybe 8 win range. But I'm going to go 6-7 wins for now. But if they beat the Panthers, that's going to change things a little bit more. And same thing with the Seahawks and Raiders. But I love the win. I love the win against the Bucs, but we can't get too carried away. I know a lot of people probably already told me that in the comments, but I'm excited for what we can do, and I want to see, us, continue to progress through the second half of the year, especially on defense. They played great this past weekend and the last few, a couple weeks before that as well. So let's hope they can keep that up. And I think right now they're kind of like 26, 27, 28th in the defensive rankings. So, it's going to be hard to erase what they did in the first half of the season. But if they can get, somewhere to that mid-range of defenses in terms of rankings at the end of the year, that would be really encouraging, not only because of the schedule they've played, but considering how they started in the first half. That would be very, very, encouraging. And yeah, let's hope we can get, healthy on offense. I know we lost Chase Young, and that's a bummer, but we're starting to get healthy other places, which could help us as well. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Has that, did that Bucks game change your perspective about this team? And give me, kind of your win prediction, reevaluate what you thought. Like I said, 6 to 7 wins is what I'm thinking right now. And, could go up, could go down, depending on the next couple weeks. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and turn on those notifications so you never miss a video. Peace, guys.